Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is a campaign update. We gamed Saturday. The party started out spending probably about 45 minutes of the gaming time updating what they did over the 5 weeks. A few players didn't make the game, but the ones that did got to do all that. I then started taking down names of the characters and what passive talents or abilities they have. They decided to go back to the mine. I prepared material for it, so I was actually prepared this time for a very extent delve into the mine. They mess with the Cobalt guards in a somewhat passive way. And then the player Bobby used his lizard man Cheese to go talk with the Cobalts and try to make peace with them in some way. At least that's what I believe his goals were. So they take him down to the lowest level of the mine and bring him in front of the shaman. The shaman presents the dragon Iris to him. Blue-white scaled dragon. After talking for a few minutes, the dragon rises up and shakes some of the gold and silver out of its scales and asks the lizard man a few questions, which he answers for the most part. And then the dragon's eyes glow and the lizard man loses time and forgets why he's down there or how he got down there. Well, the dragon repeats the agreement they have. He is to bring the dragon a humanoid, non-lizard humanoid, to eat, and a magical item to add to his treasure hoard. The lizard man agrees, mostly because if he doesn't, he gets eaten. And then he is led out back to the surface. Meanwhile, the rest of the party on the surface is sitting there trying to figure out what to do. Without any hunting skills, they try to make traps and catch some prey. They end up using one of the traps to catch one of the guards, and they use that to kill one of the guards. Outside of that, the traps were mostly uneventful. The guards had retreated into the cave after that incident because they're kobolds, and there was only 2 left. They are very cowards. So, from the perspective of the ones that were outside, a few hours had went by the time the lizard man had come to the surface. The party decides that their best bet is to head back to town and then go to the swamp. Without having the swamp fully prepared, I had to search through my notes and find the map that I was going to use. And I remember bits of what I said last time about the swamp, so we started with that. The party decided to breach the castle while attacking the front with a magic spell. They breached the castle on the right bottom side where one of the towers had been collapsed, and it was the shortest distance across the moat. So they extended a rope across and used that to, for one character, the thief, to sneak by. He explores the room that's initially closest to that collapsed tower. Then he goes north and explores a privy that has a slime in it. Closes the door very quickly. For those that aren't familiar with the fantasy trip, a slime is essentially a very small ooze, and depending upon the color, it could be very hard to kill. And they tend to do acid damage. Most slimes, though, are typically about 1 meter in length, so about 3 feet. But larger slimes do exist, just the most common are the small ones. From there, he opens a door to a bedroom, and it is very decayed, and there is a scorpion, big, thick, armored scorpion about the size of a large rat, tied to a bedpost. It moves towards him, but the string prevents it from getting anywhere close to him. And then across the hall in the opposite direction is another bedroom with another scorpion. This one's thin, without the strong hide, and has very spindly claws, and it is also tied to a bed. The room's in about the same condition. He doesn't find much of anything of worth, and then he sees into a big room where he sees a few wargs and a goblin. And this goblin's armed with actual armor, and he is talking to the wargs. When the incident begins at the front, he is interrupted from his conversation with the wargs. The courtyard, the gargoyles and the party circled around and looked overhead to see what they could see without being seen. And surprisingly, they flew high enough to not be noticed, which we just rolled a d6 and said a 6, they got noticed. So they succeeded in their scouting, and they knew in the courtyard was about 7 goblins or 9 goblins. And then at the front gate was the other number, 7 or 9. And then there was a fire pit in the courtyard, something's being cooking, and there's a giant creature, humanoid, in the courtyard. The characters don't know it, but the players do, that it's an ogre. So when they attack the front gate with the fire magic to hit the goblin, the other goblins come rushing out, and so does the ogre. And once he is out, the drawbridge to the front gate is pulled up. The party on the outside retreats at this point. Then the thief is also working his way out of the building. I remember there was a little combat between him and a wolf. I don't remember if he defeated it or if it retreated. Either way, he ended up bitten by a wolf, and then he is now working his way to the outside. On his way out, he lit a lot of the wood on fire to the section of the castle he was in. So that was burning while the party made their retreat. I have to figure out how much of the castle's left, if any. I also have to figure out if any of the treasure that might have been close to the wooden part of the castle would still be intact. And the party won't know until they come back to investigate. Well, that is what happened. I awarded XP like I do at the end of every game session, because the players that show up are the ones that get rewarded character-wise for the XP, but they're playing 4 different characters, so they're leveling. The characters they play most often are the only ones that are going to level quickly. And as long as you make majority of the game sessions, there's not going to be a big level discrepancy in the fantasy trip. Because every time you gain a level, just one of your attribute points go up. And since you're rolling under that, that helps a lot. So we ended there. They haven't told me what they're going to do, what they want to do next week, which I'll probably hit them up now and ask them, because it is Wednesday and I would like to prepare something for Sunday if they're going to go back. The player that played the lizard man that went into the cobalt lair, he has gotten a better job offer, and it's going to move him away. So he will be out of the loop for a while. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin and continue in the fun. But that'll take my 7 to 8 players down by 1. So it is what it is. If this interests everybody, or if this helps in the recap, let me know.